As a current or graduated college student of the sciences, it may be difficult for you to find scientific articles that are both easy to understand and remain unbiased. The scientific community as a whole may stress the importance of only presenting unbiased data. However, it seems that there is miscommunication between the scientific community and the public, which creates distorted and biased research articles. This can be due to a lack of transition between the scientific jargon and common language. It could also be due to flaws in peer review, or it could even be due to the origin of funding for each of the studies. In any case, two questions arise concerning the education of upcoming scientists. One is, how can students recognize biased articles? And the second one is, what can students do in order to ensure that their future publications remain unbiased? So now let's look at how to determine if an article is biased. The first step is to research the scientific journal in order to understand what its main focus is. For example, as the name implies, the Journal of Neuroscience is solely focused on data which corresponds with neurological findings. Furthermore, journals usually have a different topic that they center their journal on for each publication. The idea behind this is that scientists would be prompted to do research on this specific topic in order to be published. The second step is to research the author of the scientific article. If the author has published multiple papers within the same area of study, then they are more likely to be experts in the field. But you have to understand that they are also more likely to be biased towards proving their own research. They may cite one of their own papers as a source of information, which can ultimately diminish their credibility. The third step is to be wary of any graphs or charts that are used. Most scientific data is compared to standard data, but even with standardizations, data can be skewed in order to make it look like they are significant. There's also the possibility that something has been left out of the data figures in order to portray a different, more supportive picture for their conclusions. The fourth step is to understand and to get a sense of the overall tone of the article. So is it trying to push you to believe that their data is real, or is it more relaxed in the sense that it is only presenting what they found? If it is difficult to determine if the paper is pushy or relaxed, then one thing to look out for is if the paper is continuously connecting parts of the paper to the conclusion versus connecting the conclusion to what they found. Also, leaving out obvious flaws of the research from the discussion section of the paper is another way to determine if the article is pushy or genuine. Now that you know how to determine if a research article is biased, let's look at how students can write without bias. The first step is what you want to do is to first conduct research on whatever topic you are focusing on. So you want to make sure that 1, your research has not already been conducted, and 2, that it is something possible and important to conduct research on. You want to make sure that the sources that you are using for your research are coming from credible and unbiased sources. Now, once you have done your research on your topic, the second step is to conduct your own study. So depending on what area of study you're conducting your study in, you'll want to make sure that there isn't any gender, racial, sex, political, or religious biases, unless of course that's what your study's on. After your research is done, the third step comes into play. You want to organize your information and data in a way that is both informative and easily understood, yet sticks to pure factual data. Do not use any jargon in your paper, and make sure to explain the data in a way that both experts and the general public can understand without having to go research more. The fourth step is to make sure to be sure to not only include the data that supports your hypothesis, but also include the data that was not supportive of your hypothesis, even if there's more data for the latter. So by using this information, students in the area of science should be able to maintain unbiased research while presenting it in a way that the public can understand.